This episode of Obscure Chatter is brought to you by Mothman. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if, oh my God, he's right behind you. Run! Run for your life! And now, on to the episode. Welcome to another episode of Obscure Chatter. I am your host, Terri Doty. If this is your first time listening, welcome to the madness. And if it isn't, you already know how fucking crazy we are. Hello. And yes, again, if you are new here, and cussing offends you, I mean, it's my show. We're gonna cuss, so maybe this isn't the show for you. Woo! So, not only is this our December episode, but it's our last episode of 2024. And there's a lot to unpack this year, isn't there? Just crazy times. Oh, but we've all learned and grown, but we haven't, because a lot of us that should be here aren't, and a lot of people that should be gone are too fucking stubborn to die. Wow. I guess it's gonna be that kind of show. No, it's not. I'm just take with that what you will. I don't know. But yeah, crazy times, getting crazier, and it always feels like a lot of time has passed between episodes and no time at all. So I don't know. It's some like throughout the weeks. It's only been in this last year that I've really been taking notes between show to show. And when I look at my little notes that I've made throughout the month, like, Jesus, a lot has happened. So I don't know. Okay, one second. She's got an itch in her closed-end headphones, and y'all got to hear that. I hope it was crusty goodness. I actually don't. But if it was, keep it to yourself. Don't tell anyone. I will find you. I'm on today. But yeah, it's initially I was going to do an episode before Christmas, and then I kind of figured, why? Why? I know we've done some Christmas special stuff in the past, but it's kind of like the Halloween thing where, like, this year has been so chaotic that rules are just fuck them, or rules are just general things like, hey, in November you should do something about, like, being thankful, and da-da-da-da-da, and Halloween do, like, a spooky story thing. December, talk about presents and all that, and I will, I guess, but, like doing a whole winter theme thing. I'm going to talk about what happened on some holiday stuff, but yeah, like, it isn't a Christmas themed show. I know that if you're anything like me, you're more than a little anxious about the days to come. So you're asking, now what? Now what? And we're kind of always moving forward and trying to make lemon tarts out of those fucking lemons. But Obscure Chatter was founded on lemons. Wait, can that be misconstrued? I'm going to say no when I know the answer is yes. So moving on. With that in mind, there are plenty of real world things happening that I was debating whether or not to talk about. But we did get a lot of stuff sent to us. So I figured between us talking about the media of this month and the top media of 2024 for Obscure Chatter, i.e. moi, we'll take a few topic questions that were sent to us and kind of see where we go. And in January, I'm sure there will be stuff that I didn't cover that is still worth covering. And as always, if there's something you really would like me to talk about, we can talk about it. Send a message to obscurechatter@gmail.com, like so many of others did this month and with previous months since we've started doing the emails. And we'll take it under advisement. We love hearing from you guys. I'm saying we. There's me, and there's also Steven beyond the booth. And yes, I'm back in the booth again. And I'm watching Beep. See? I don't need the beeps. I've got my mouth. Oh my gosh. Excuse me, we're scratching again because it is, it's very dry here. It's not cold, but it's cold dry. That's fun. I know. Super riveting podcasting happening here. But yeah, I love watching Christmas stuff here in Texas. And it is so funny. Like even the Christmas-ish movie I'm watching as I talk to you guys. For those, okay, a little side note. If you are new here, I initially started with watching stuff and now I still do. And it is what it is. But yeah, I'm still watching stuff. But it's so funny to be watching stuff and it's all the snow and everyone wearing like, fucking the heaviest coat possible. And I'm here, in Texas where the temperatures are varying between 35 and 96 on any given day. It's fun. I have a closet full of coats and I just want to use them. But, global warming. I'm sorry. This is supposed to be upbeat-ish, right? But no. So again, I'm in the booth. I actually wasn't sure if I would be because of the weather. Like it was really nice and chilly in November, and it's kind of okay. I'll probably open the windows after the episode and get all that booth funk out. But also, it's just a very beautiful day, and you got to take advantage of those when you can. But yeah, I may or may not end up very, very sweaty by the end of this. And, it's the sacrifices I make to talk to myself in the booth. I am so incredibly brave. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Believe it or not, I haven't had too much caffeine. Maybe that's the problem. Or maybe I don't know. Some of y'all are like, what are you talking about? This is normal Terri Doty behavior. But y'all were nice enough to send a few things to obscurechatter@gmail.com. And I want to base stuff around the cool little questions that really were Christmas or New Year's Eve, preparing for next year themed. I mean, again, yeah, there's a shitload that we could cover, and we can see what chaos decided to stay next month. But first, we're going to go over December media, which, for those who know, it's typically music, although I didn't really listen to anything new. I did a wrap-up for the year asking music, and Amazon Music went, bitch, you really liked this one song. And I was like, I didn't listen to it that much. And when it told me I listened to it that much, I listened to it on repeat, like a full day. And Amazon Music updated. They're like, okay, you've listened to this over 200 times in 2024. And it's Feel Nothing by The Plot and You. I really like that band. So, yeah, as far as the month of December, there's been nothing new. It's just been playing a lot of the go-tos. As far as new movies in December, I finally saw The Social Network. I don't think we talk about Jesse Eisenberg enough without like people kind of being like, oh, so we're just going to keep on casting the awkward white guy. Like, he's more than that. I know a lot of people compare him to like Michael Cera. He's really good. When I think about some of the stuff that he's done, I'm like, oh, obviously, like, I'm a big Zombieland fan, even though I haven't seen the sequel. And The Squid and the Whale, which is such a fucked up watch. Good movie, but it's one of those, like, okay, I've seen it once. I never need to see it again. Especially anything related to Jeff Daniels and Anna Paquin getting it on, because I remember they play father and daughter in Fly Away Home, and I couldn't let that go watching The Squid and the Whale. So enjoy that for what you will. But I actually, when I was in New York, that movie actually reminded me, I'm like, oh, wait, when we were at the Natural History Museum, I'm like, I got to see this giant fucking whale. It was insane. It's kind of insane that it ever got in there. I could look into the specifics on how that whale and a bunch of shit got in there, but I don't want to because it's probably horrible. Who knows how many people died getting that whale up. But yeah. Okay, so Social Network. I had been doing this master class subscription, and I watched Aaron Sorkin's one on writing, which was really good. But he talked a lot about The Social Network, and I got to see some breakdowns of how he approached the script and approached writing a real person and their life and blending fiction and fact, and I almost said fict and faction. But it was really, really good. I'm always distracted by Justin Timberlake, but that's just me. I know he's acted in a bunch of stuff. I just don't particularly enjoy him as an actor. But everybody else made up for it. And anytime you want me to watch Andrew Garfield, that's fine. That's fine with me. I just did a rewatch of The Amazing Spider-Man and the second one. I watched a whole mess of Marvel movies recently, revisit them, and anything with Andrew Garfield is okay with me. Pew. But aside from The Social Network, there was also Bob's Burgers, the movie. I hadn't seen it, and I've been watching Bob's Burgers in the morning. So some people are, I noticed some people are like, why is it, this is just a longer Bob's Burgers episode. I didn't care. I thought it was great. And I forget how much I'm like loving these characters sometimes, honestly. But it was really good. It was very, very sweet in a lot of ways. And I like the continuity when you go back into the show, that it took the events of the movie into the show, which I'm thinking about like The Simpsons. I don't know if The Simpsons did that, because I kind of stopped watching The Simpsons a while ago. But yeah, as far as shows, I finished Star Trek Lower Decks, and I think it ended very, very well, very sweet, but still left it pretty open-ended as to where that crew, the crew of the Cerritos was going. I'm going to miss hearing Jack Quaid freak out. I really am. But he's doing action movies and more stuff now, so, and there's more The Boys coming, so I'll find my fix. And there are so many other voice actors in there that I'm just forgetting the names of, and I would have loved to have been a part of that, but, you know, someday, anything Star Trek, get Terry in there, even if it's just Walla bits. I don't care. Like, I just want that credit. I would die happy. I'm revisiting The X-Files with Steven, which I don't know if we've ever watched The X-Files together. So we're doing that now. And I watched the 4-part mini-series documentary on called Glitter and Greed, the Lisa Frank story. It's on Prime. That's how I watched it anyway. I don't know how other people are watching it, but there was some stuff in there that you, obviously as a kid, you just don't think about. And it's kind of bananas. It's kind of bananas, some of the stuff. We're like, oh, I just wanted, you know, a beautiful, like, bright and adorable orca folder. I had no idea that they were fucking over artists and all this, all this history to it. It was wild. And then Stephen and I watched, speaking of wild, The Penguin. We watched The Penguin, which great performances for everybody. I'm liking this change, or not change, with a few shows. I'm even thinking about like Agatha Harkness, where if we're going to focus on a horrible person, we're letting that horrible person do horrible things. Like, you don't have to like them to understand their story. There were some kind of rougher sides, or you know, B plot, C plot, stuff with like the Penguin's mom that were kind of hard to watch, but beautiful performances all around. Like, watch it if you haven't seen it. Obviously, watch the Batman first if you haven't. But I don't know. You might be able to watch it before. I wouldn't though. But it really shows like Gotham City, you know, for what it is. Like, but of course there were a couple moments I'm like, where the fuck is Bruce Wayne? Also known as Batman. But yeah. Books, I finally checked out Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. And I checked it out digitally from my local library, because libraries are awesome that way. And now I need to physically own it because it was great. And also checked out the first 3 books of Natalia Jaster's Foolish Kingdom series. It's spicy. It's kingdoms. but it's about a jester that is incredibly, insanely sexy, saucy, da-da-da-da-da, and, stuck up, awkward autumn princess. And guess what? Spoiler alert, they, fall in love and fuck a lot. So much for so long that I'm like, guys, she was just poisoned. Maybe give her a fucking second to recover. Whoa, wow. But yes, it was good. I checked out 4, and 4 didn't have the same vibes to me as 1 through 3, but I'm still going to continue the series. So there's that. And okay, so we're going to take a little drink. And we're going to go through media of 2024. Media of 2024. I'm sorry, I don't. But first, music-wise, we're going to go top 10. And this is just according to vibes mostly. Nobody's like, hey, these were your top blah, 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 blah. Music, here we go. Bring Me the Horizon. Surf Curse, New Order, Garbage, The Plot and You, shocking absolutely no one, Queen of the Damned soundtrack, Typo Negative, the Sucker Punch soundtrack, Apache, and Journey. Welcome to the top 10 Hall of Fame. Clapping very lightly, and even now I hear every engineer cursing my existence for the soft clap. Yeah. And then movies. These are none of the music was in particular order. None of the movies are in particular order. But Transformers 1, Deep Red, Last Night in Soho, A Quiet Place, Day 1, The Wild Robot, Arrival, Lisa Frankenstein, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Weird, The Al Yankovic Story, and Alien Romulus. None of these are in particular order, and they did not have to come out in 2024. They were consumed in 2024. Shows, I don't think any of these would shock anybody, but Agatha All Along, The Penguin, Kevin Can F Himself, Andor, Ghosts, The Artful Dodger, Lessons in Chemistry, Blackbird, Robotech, and Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Books were the hardest one to kind of pare down. So it is what it is. But books, top 10s. A Heart That Works by Rob Delaney. At First Spite. Harlot's Bay book number 1 by Olivia Dade. The Shining by Stephen King. And this might be cheating, but Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. Both of those were fantastic. And this is also cheating because I'm lumping the whole series, which I guess I could have done with The Shining too. But the Camelot Rising series by Kirsten White, The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This is another cheat. The Empyrean series, books 1 and 2 so far, by Rebecca Yaros, and The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. Wow. Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm so proud of all of these bits of media. I don't know, I think I consumed a lot this year, but I was also just I decompressed a lot with my go-tos, but I also tried to branch out and watch and read and listen to different things. But sometimes your favorites are your favorites for a reason. These aren't necessarily new. A lot of the stuff that didn't make the cut weren't necessarily things that I didn't like. They were just things that I always go to. So I tried to keep it a little clearer, or a little more, not clearer. What was I saying? Clearer. A little more, less repetitive. It's less repetitive. Oh no, the booth madness might have already set in. Let's get another drink of water and then we will get to topics. again, I really appreciate you guys checking in one final time in 2024. All right. So yes, we did get a lot of topic requests, but before we get into questions, one thing that's wild is these were our first holidays with our family back from China. And I was really worried about Thanksgiving, I'm not going to lie, because you just don't know when, like I've met my nephew before we went, but my niece, Jessica, had just been born and she was just a tiny little baby when they went to China. So for those that don't know the story, my brother-in-law and his wife went to China at the end of 2019 to visit some of Karen, my sister-in-law, her family. And because of the pandemic and everything, they ended up getting stuck there until, I want to say, October of this year. Stephen can probably correct me on that, but it was a long time. Like, the kids had to be in school there. And they lived in close quarters with everybody. So this is our first holiday season with them back. And I was worried that, like, the kids and I wouldn't, like, vibe. But then I remember how much I love hanging out with kids. So it was actually a lot of fun. I will say. There's something, and you know, where you're kind of like, hey, I think I talked about this before, but somebody was like, well, it just makes sense if you live closer to your father-in-law, that you should host Thanksgiving. And I very much was like, nope, those kids are not coming into this house until, they know how to behave themselves, until they know me a little bit better. But mostly, yeah, I can't handle, like, cleaning up for the sake of kids, where I distinctly remember, like, hey, fucking behave. This is not your house. I don't know when that rule changed or if that was just my family, but my niece and nephew did not get that memo at all. But we just met up for Thanksgiving and Christmas via my father-in-law's assisted living place. They got us a special little room where we could all have dinner, all have Thanksgiving. I say dinner, it was lunch, all together. And then, sorry, so distracted by what's happening on the screen that hasn't happened in a while. Steven is the only person that understands my pain right now. Oh my God, I'm like, oh, why do I do this to myself? Jesus. I don't want to, like, look at what's happening on the screen while talking about my precious niece and nephew. Okay, it's over. The scene's over, thank God. But yeah, I love them to death, but there was like a, hey, like, you know, I don't know. There's one thing about being a parent, but there's another thing to be like, what kind of aunt and uncle are we going to be? And Stephen was a lot more loosey-goosey for Christmas than he was for Thanksgiving. But man, the kids, there was a point for Christmas where, you know, we each brought presents for the kids. There was this moment where my niece opened up one of her things and it was this Pokeball and a couple of things. And my nephew was like, that's mine. And my father-in-law is the one that got it for her. He's like, no, that's Jessica's. And she's like, that's supposed to be mine. And he takes, and like, he tries to take it from her. And I immediately, I know these aren't my kids, but I was like, hey, stop that. And it eventually got to where I saw Jaden be like, okay. And he put like a puzzle box that he got in with Jessica's stuff and took her Pokemon. And I'm like, did you ask her if you could have that? He's like, yeah, I talked to her about it. I'm like, no, you didn't. Why are you lying? And everybody jumped in on him like, did you ask Jessica? Like, I switched stuff. I'm like, oh God, I don't remember. I don't envy this part of having a sibling. But then when the kids were finally busy with their stuff, which I don't want to brag, but my niece was mostly playing with what I got her, which was a stuffed unicorn that lights up and sparkles, makes sparkly sounds. So I don't want to brag, but I think I kind of won. But they were playing, and that's when my brother-in-law and Karen, I don't know why I'm saying brother-in-law, it's David and Karen, and they kind of let it slip. They're like, oh yeah, no, for birthdays, both of them get a gift. For any kind of thing, they both get presents. And I was not quiet. I'm like, you need to shut that shit down now. They're like, well, they get really upset when they don't get a present too. And I'm like, welcome to life. I don't know. They definitely wanted me to let it go, and I understand. But what? No. Like, it reminds me of this TikTok that I saw of this adorable little girl on her birthday. Everyone sings happy birthday to her, and she blew out her candles, okay? And then they pushed her aside, lit another candle, and each one of her siblings, which was like at least 3 other siblings, I want to say it was closer to at least 5 other siblings or more, everybody got a turn blowing out her candles. And what you remember, or what I remember, is her joy fading with each time that cake was relit. And I'm like, oh, no. So, we've been talking about like babysitting the kids or whatever. I'm like, I don't know if you guys want us to babysit because we're not going to do the cookie cutter shit. Like, usually I was thinking Steven and I were going to be like the cool aunt and uncle. We might be cool and everything, but I'm not going to cater to them like that. Everybody, like, on Jaden's birthday, Jessica's not going to get a present. And on Jessica's birthday, Jaden ain't going to get a present. Like, you guys need to shut that shit down. Am I alone here? Like, I kind of get it, but my God. Anyways, yeah. So Christmas morning, we got to do a little present exchange ourselves. And that was really sweet. We lit up our tiny little pink tree that we wrapped in silver tinsel with a silver star. And we had breakfast. The second we finished our coffee, we sat on the floor and we just gave, we knew what each other had. So we just kept handing each other different gifts. And it was very sweet. We had been collectively getting stuff throughout the year with a $20 budget for each present for each month. And some of this stuff was just really topical to what was happening clearly earlier on in the year, which was actually funny in its own way. But it was really sweet. It'd been forever since we'd done gift exchanges like that, where sometimes, I don't know, if we did do presents, we gave them, we gave each other presents a month or 2 early. And there was something about actually waiting this year. I liked it. I think we're going to keep up with it. But it wasn't, just a bunch of big ticket stuff. Like, when we buy more expensive things now, we typically just buy them when we want them. I like getting little things that are insights into how well they know you. Like, the first thing, I've talked about Typo Negative before, and it was on the top 10 of Obscure Chatter's music this year. Hello. But that was my first present that I opened on Christmas morning, was a CD of Typo Negative, because Stephen remembers that music is how my father and I bonded, and we bonded over Typo Negative. And I'm like, oh, that was so sweet, because, we're recollecting physical media, and I've never owned that CD, so it was really, I don't know, I teared up a little, and then there were some that are just very I won't talk about his presents, but mine, there is one. It's an adorable little pouch that I'm sure anyone that's had a period, sorry, people that haven't had this luxury, but it'll be over real quick, I promise. I have a little pouch. I don't know about y'all, but I have a little pouch in my purse around lady time that carries all my lady products. Steven got me a little pouch that says vampire tea bags. I I almost shared it on social media, but I didn't know. But I sent it to my girls' chat, and oh my God, he is so brave. That could have blown up in his fucking face. I'm like, yeah, I don't think he's realized that. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Christmas is great. And as far as like other things throughout the year, like there have been some not great things, but, and I'm not one of these people that's like, oh man, like, what are we going to do next year to make up for all of this? Or what are our resolutions and all that? But there have been a lot of crap things that have happened personally, professionally, and just as an American, as a citizen of Earth, and as a Texan. I don't know why that was last, but there are a lot of things going on that make me not feel safe and make me worried for people that I hold very dear and just people I know I will never meet, but I fear for them. I fear for their safety. And I hope that wherever you are, wherever you're listening, that that you're finding some kind of joy right now. And if the answer to that isn't yes, I'm sorry. And I hope things turn around. But I know why you might feel like they might not. But please hang in there. And I love you. If I were around and you were amenable to it, I'd give you a great big mom hug. I think I would give good hugs as a mom. Damn it. So if I ever do a con or something again, it's going to be like free mom hugs. Boom. Just for you. But yeah. Pardon me. Oh my God. Now my nose is going crazy. You guys are really getting the true voice actor experience. All right. So let's finally get to questions. There are a few. I didn't really count how many. So let's just get them as they go after a little drink of water. Sorry. So first thing, what's a personal or professional achievement this year that you're particularly proud of? Now, this has actually been kind of a slow year, but when I did work, I worked on things that I remember being fun for the most part. Some of them it's like, but like I got to work on, with a few new clients this year and that aren't anime. That was one really weird thing that happened, is kind of having to explain like, hey, when you guys don't hear from us, it doesn't mean we're retired. It means we're just working on things that you might not have heard of. And I really wish people would take more care before just being like, yeah, no, I think she's dead or I think she's retired. Like, no, I'm just working on different shit. Damn. But that being said, I'd say personally, a big achievement has just been keeping up with boundaries, maintaining boundaries. It's just minimal buffoonery, charcuterie, whatever. And it's just been reinforcing shit, like knowing when to say no and not just saying yes to things that I don't want to do. Like that's so easy to do, like especially when you're a creative and you're in entertainment, there is this thing like, oh, hey, like you should go to this thing. There are going to be a bunch of people there and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, in my off time, I don't want to network. Like there's networking, but I don't want to go to some place that's under the guise of a party and actually be there to schmooze. I personally hate that. Like I hate when someone's talking to me and I know that they're not talking to me because they actually want to talk to me. Does that make sense? Like they're talking to me to like try to get an in or a connection or all of that. So it's minimizing that and saying no more often than saying yes. And on the professional side, I got to knock off two things off my bucket list at the same time, 2 birds, 1 stone. And that was, I want to be a lead. I wanted to be a lead in an original work, original animation. And I also wanted to do a pilot. So I got to do both at the same time. And I can't really wait to talk about it, but I'm going to hold off on it just yet. And even if it goes nowhere, it was a lot of fun. One, to just be thought of for this project, and two, I you know, I remember the recording of it just being really fun. I was working with people that I've never worked with like that. And also, the creator of this is a former VO student of mine. And it was just kind of weird to have our roles reversed in such a way that, that he thought of me for this, one, and two, that, this is a guy. I won't give too much about him right now. This is a guy that used to drive from Houston to my home studio for a 1-hour session that he paid for in cash. A 1-hour session, and then just drove back. Like, I was wild. And so he's just got this tenacity, and it was really interesting to work with him on this thing that he's just been plugging away at forever, you can tell. And so, whatever comes of it, I'm going to remember that experience and be grateful that I got to check off 2 things on my bucket list and play with my register in a different way. Like in a comfortable way for me, just not a way that I've ever gotten to do before. But yeah. Okay, what's something you learned about yourself in 2024? I'm gonna keep it simple. I want you guys to know this about me, okay? I mess up, okay? I mess up sometimes, and I'm willing to admit that I'm not perfect. So when I tell you that I've had a visceral hatred of yams and sweet potatoes, I want you to take me seriously. Like, there was a framed photo of a sweet potato next to a yam with a big red circle and an X over both of those, and just darts all over them. Am I lying? You don't know. But I have not been a fan for years. But I learned in the year of our Lord 2024 that sometimes they're okay. Sometimes they're okay. They're okay. They're okay. All right, next question. Did you have any surprising wins or moments of unexpected joy this year? I talked about it maybe last month, but the way I cried when I saw a donkey in real life, guys, again, I love them. They're such gentle, adorable, beautiful creatures, and I love them. I love donkeys, and I'd never seen one. That was another thing on my bucket list. Wow. Okay, I crossed a bunch of stuff off this year, actually. And yeah, we were at a pumpkin patch that was also on a farm around here. And they had a little petting area for like goats and stuff. And I was like, oh, these goats are adorable. And then right behind the goats, I saw a miniature donkey. And I went, I think I scared the shit out of at least one kid. And just like, oh my God. Yeah, cried. And Steven's like, look at you. I'm like, shut up. Ah! But so good. And then, I really enjoyed, I've talked about it already, but I really did enjoy the gift exchange. It was very personal and very cute. Guys, I don't know if you guys understand just how cute we are. It's like not even funny. What's one word you'd use to sum up 2024? Fucked. Like, seriously, there's been some great stuff that's happened this year, but I gotta admit, it's been super fucked. Fucked in not a fun, we had dinner and dancing beforehand, fucked like, I explained it on Blue Sky. Because like Steven and I were watching randomly Mad Men, and this joke came to me, so I just set it up this way. It's hey Terry, how was your year? Like, it was like a Don Draper pitch. And I went, oh, that's not too bad. Like, no. It was specifically like the Don Draper pitch where he talked about growing up in a whorehouse way too much in front of Hershey and broke down crying. With Hershey's people at the very end being like, well, we don't want that. Like, that's what 2024 has been. Fucked. But I'm cautiously optimistic about some stuff. I am in no way optimistic about a fuck ton of stuff. So, fucked. With a side of fucky, and a dessert of fuck. There you go. I was trying to think of something to mix with parfait, but that didn't work out. All right, so, okay, how do you spend the week between... How do you like to spend the week between Christmas and New Year's? We just keep it chill. I actually almost the day after Christmas, like, went out. Like, Steven was going to go hunting, and I said, I think I'm going to go out, maybe do a little book hunting. And he was like, hey, I need you to think about this. We've both worked in retail. What is December 26th? I'm like, oh shit, you're right. He's like, do not do that to yourself. For those of you who've never worked in retail or never had to return something the day after, like, for me, working at Guitar Center, and I'm trying to think of other retail jobs I've had. There was linens and things where someone tried to return a fucking toilet after 2 weeks of using it. Fuck you, by the way. But it is all about getting blamed for something going wrong on Christmas Day. Like, at Guitar Center, and be like, well, this isn't the guitar my daughter wanted. I'm like, how the fuck was I going to know that, Jennifer? Or, yeah, this amp didn't come with the plug. Okay, I can see if I can find it. Like, I want to return it, and you should kill yourself. Like, whoa. Okay. It almost feels like this isn't worth the $8 an hour. So yeah, I didn't do that to myself or any employee that had the misfortune of working that day. I instead was getting stuff ready for this episode, promoting TAS Rewind, which we just released our Anime Overload episode. And yeah, and just chilled. Did some yoga, hung out with my dog. Not a bad way to spend the day. And then watched Venom, which I didn't hate. Does Venom get a lot of hate? Don't answer that. I don't care. All right, so next question. How do you approach goal setting for the new year? Simple. I really don't. I kind of thought for a while there that I was weird for not doing it. It's like, no, I kind of feel like it's setting myself up for failure. Because if I succeed, great. The succeeding never really has a feeling to it. But if I fail, I'm going to be so hard on myself. So I just try. And I think of things that happen this year that I don't want to happen the next year and hope for the best. But yeah, like the gym thing. Sometimes I would never do the gym again, but what I used to do was only sign up for gyms around New Year's because that's when all the specials are happening. But the double-edged sword of that is when you're a thick girl, they're definitely going to talk to you about how different you're going to look in a whole year. You're going to get out of that prison that you're in. I'm like, I actually just want to work out. I don't care if I lose weight. I just want to vibe. Well, you should also get a trainer. You're okay. You're going to be okay. Like, all right. I don't need someone that is relying on my commission to be talking to me like that. But I'm like, I just want to work out. Damn, I just want to use your pool. Damn. yeah, no resolutions or anything like that. If you have a resolution, congratulations. Do your best and be kinder to yourself. Yeah. There you go. What's a person, place, or thing you're particularly grateful for this year? The person is always going to be Stephen. Even if Stephen exploded into a million pieces of candy tomorrow, it'll probably happen someday. Just like that. That's how I'm going to lose my husband. He's going to explode into like 5,000 pieces of bubblegum. And I'll figure out a way to move on eventually, but it'll be hard. But at least I'll have bubblegum. So there's that. But that I don't know. But I'm always going to be grateful for him. He helped me in so many ways that I don't have time to get into, but he's my favorite person in the entire universe. And even if, yes, he exploded into thousands of pieces of bubblegum, and it was like 20 years later, I'm getting asked this question. The question is still going to get answered the same way. Stephen Hoff. Always, always, always. My favorite place is my home. Is it perfect? No. Do I have at least 20 things on the list that need to get fixed? Yes, but it's mine. Kind of. Also kind of the bank's. But, it hasn't been great for mortgage rates and all of that stuff. So it's kind of fun to think, I'm being sarcastic, to think about how if I was just trying to buy this exact same house now, I couldn't afford it. So that's interesting. We could dive into that, but we won't. And yeah, and then a favorite thing, I'm also going to go with Steven. I mean, the guy's going to explode into like thousands of pieces of candy. I had to lock that shit down. Do you guys understand? Yeah. So, yes. And we drink a little more water. I can't believe we're already on the other side of this episode. Can you? Some of you are definitely listening to this at 3 speed, being like, this still wasn't quick enough to listen to this damn bitch. But as we close things down for this episode and for the year, I want to thank all of you for helping make this year tolerable. I mean, the guy that's going to explode into bubblegum did a lot, but you guys also helped, because I speak to a lot of you guys through social media, and some of you guys that I've known for so long that we just text all the time. And man, so lucky to have you guys in my life. And I hope the feeling's mutual, or maybe you're just hate listening to this, which, hey, I also appreciate because it counts as a listen. Boop. It might not sound like much to you guys, but like your contributions to the show, even if it is just listening, really have gone a long way. And when I say, obscure chatter, I'm also talking about that anime show. Revisiting that show, and also even like revisiting earlier episodes of Obscure Chatter where I talk about that anime show as if it's like a dead thing. It is very much a living organism that has resurrected very well, I think. And thank you for subscribing to the new subscribers for Obscure Chatter, as well as those that subscribe to the YouTube channels, that anime show podcast and Obscure Chatter. But like revisiting the show was only possible because somebody was like, hey, notice the show is down, and I could not save the existing stuff. So it made me revisit everything. I'm still going through episodes week to week and converting them into video, editing people that are monsters that I don't want to have to hear about anymore. You either know or you know on that one. But I'm saying, like, If we, if the math works out, we're going to be running that anime show until August of 2025, and that's pretty great. But getting back to the grand thank you. Thank you. I mean, I really hope listening to this episode and the others have given you some bit of comfort, some bit of joy. I know that those are in short supply, and hopefully this helps a tiny, tiny bit. And, until then, I want you guys to take care of yourselves. I want you guys to be okay so badly. And I know that there's really nothing I can do about that. So, if there's anything I can do to help, also reach out, obscurechatter@gmail.com. I really do love you guys and appreciate you guys. I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know where this emotion is coming from. I seriously just made way too big of a joke about my husband exploding into candy. So I don't know where emotion is coming from, but thank you. Until the end of January 2025, what are we going to do? We're going to read good shit. We're going to watch good shit. We're going to listen to good shit. And we're going to try everything in our power not to be a shit. Remember, practice makes perfect. I love you, and see you next year, you fuckers. Later.